Alright, welcome back to today's session, ladies and gentlemen. We are looking at grade 10 solid geometry question, and you can see that we are given the front view of a square prism with section line PQ. The base side length of our square prism is 35 and start position S. Okay. Draw to scale 1:1 the following views: the given front view, the top view, and a sectioned left view. This is very important. Section left view. So while we are on that, this is our front, left, and right view. We have our top here. So you must have to plan our drawing. Use point S on the diagram sheet. Show all construction lines and show all hidden detail lines. Okay. Just to interpret our drawing, we can see that from one base to another base here on our front view is 51 millimeter, and then our square prism is at an angle of 8 degrees. Okay, so starting position S, angle of 30, construct our line. Okay, and then the opposite angle of 30 is our 60 degree line, right? And then here we can create our XY line, and then from that XY line we can create our center line here. Okay, and then at an angle of 45 parallel to this line segment of 30 degrees, here's how we place our set square. From this center line, constructing at an angle of 45, then also from our center line, constructing at an angle of 45. Okay, and then on these two lines I just constructed, I'm going to measure 35. Okay, so exactly here on this corner is going to be our 35. Then also on this line here is our 35. Okay, then now parallel to this line segment, you can go to our 35 there, and then construct until our center line. Okay, so this is what we should have as our auxiliary view. Okay, so now we have our auxiliary view, and our auxiliary view, we can label this one as T, U, and V. Okay, then because our square prism is at an angle of 30, meaning we are going to construct with an angle of 30 from all our points. Okay, this one is also going to be solid. And here. So now, from one base, which is from S, we measure 51. And this is how we have our front view. So if this is S, also this side is going to be S, TV, and we have our U and U. And you can see that our cutting plane PQ crosses our starting position perpendicular. So can have our cutting plane PQ. Here we have our front view. Okay, so now we are done with front view. We need our top view and then a section left view. Okay, so to start with our top view, we can create our horizontal XY line, and then perpendicular to that XY line we construct from all our points. Okay, so starting here perpendicular, so from the previous videos, you should now know the method that we are using every time when we have our auxiliary view in order to get the required views. Okay, so the method that we normally use is that we measure from auxiliary view, we skip our front view, then we measure the required view. Okay, so now I am saying from your XY line, okay, from our very own first XY line, we come and measure our point U standing on XY line, going to point U, come and measure our point U on our required view. Okay, then you know that from XY line to point U is the same distance away as point S. Okay, then now you can also come and have our U and S. Okay, U, S, then also S, U. So now from our XY line to point T, coming on our top view, XY line point T, XY line point T here. Okay, and from XY line to point V, the last point, XY line V. Okay, so now we have V, T, and T. Okay, so now we need to ask ourselves that coming from the top, viewing this front view here, we are going to see this square on the side. So this square here basically to be in solid lines. Okay, so we can use our solid lines here. Okay, and then we have line S to S, and because coming from the top is at the bottom, it means from S to S it is going to be hidden detail lines. And then from V to V on the side, you can look from our auxiliary view, we are going to see V. So V, solid line, T, also solid line, and then from T to S, it is going to be in hidden detail line. Okay, and then from our also V to S, it is going to be in solid line. Okay, and then here it is going to be our solid, also our solid. Okay, we need to complete our line from U to U. So this one from U to U is going to be in solid line. Okay, and then now we can move to our okay, can move to our left view. So here we have our I2 X2. Okay, this thing is going to disturb me, but it's fine. It's fine. I'm going to use my color markers. Okay, so constructing from my front view. Okay, right. So now the same way we measure from our auxiliary view. So this is V. We are going to look for construction line V. So here we have it, and also here we have it. Okay, and then every time you say this is V, V, and then from XY line to point S is the same distance away as from XY line to point U. And then here is our S, then our U. We have also our S. We also have our U. Okay, U, S, U, S. And then the last point is from XY line to T. So here on construction line T, we have our point, and then also here we have our point. So T and T. Okay, now imagine that we are viewing our front view coming from our left. So I am saying this whole square that is here on this line is going to be visible. So from this U, we are going to T, U, T, S, and V again. Okay. So this one, because it is going to be sectioned, we need to use our construction lines first. And then after sectioning, we can use our solid lines. Okay. But initially, we know that this whole square here is going to be in solid line. Okay. So this is how we will have our square. Okay, and then these ones are going to be in hidden detail lines. Okay, this one is going to be solid and it is going to be solid. Okay, also this one from S to S is going to be in hidden detail line. Okay, sharp. Now our cutting plane, I am going to use my color markers for cutting plane. Okay, so I am saying here's our cutting plane PQ with orange color. So we are going to construct where our cutting plane cuts our front view. Okay, so we can see that it is cutting here, here, and also here. Okay, so now here with my red pen, I am going to construct where my cutting plane is cutting. Okay, so you can see it is cutting here on point S, meaning it is cutting here, and then here on this line it is cutting on line T that goes to T, which is line T that goes to T, it is this one. Line V that goes to V, it is this one. So we now have 3 points, and then the last one, it will be our line U that goes to U, it will be this one. So now our drawing is going to look like this. Where you see my red line, just know this is going to be your solid line on your drawing. Right. Let me use this one. And now we can use your hatching. Okay. So now I'm going to hatch using my pencil. Okay, using 45°. This is where I'm showing my section line PQ. Okay, and this is the end of our session, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for taking time to watch this video.